This is the Gary Vision Indigenous Network, where we keep it real. Changing the way we look at Garifuna is our objective, with thought-provoking conversations with Franfa Estrada, The Healthy Corner with Melissa Rock, and of course, the culture meets conversation with Amadi Denzilino. We keep it 100 all the time. Garifuna Suada.
Sengu, Gaduru, Urua, Biama, Aba.
This is GariVision Indigenous Network, where the Garifuna culture thrives. From beautiful Piney by the Sea to Barranco, Georgetown, St. Mike, Hopkins, and the culture capital, Dangriga.
This is GariVision Indigenous Network. Garifuna Suada.
I am Denzel Amadilino, and you're watching Culture Meets Conversation on the GariVision Indigenous Network.
Yes, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the GariVision Indigenous Network again, where Culture Meets Conversation, and I'm your host, Amadi. And today we want to talk to our viewers. We want to go over some of the problems that are facing our Garifuna family institution. And we reviewed a video, and this video was made in 1968 in the United States in Chicago. And they was doing a study about the relationship between Black men and Black women, and they coined a term called the emergence of the new Black woman. And so this video it talks about the relationship that was going on between Black women and Black men, and why we show this video and why it's relevant, it's related to us, because it support what we have been saying, that our women here in Belize are adopting the very same lifestyle, the very same mentality from the African American community in the United States. And what I've been saying to our people here in Belize is that if you already see the consequences of that mentality, when Black women have a European mentality, it destroys Black family. And so this video is talking about how the Black woman holding a Black man to a European standard, and if a Black man cannot fit that European standard, she deem him unmanly, not a man, unsuccessful, and all these things, and look down on him. And that's another form of self-hate, and why our relationship, our family institution is broken apart. And most importantly, we believe that without our family, there is no culture. Right? So the family is the one that's I'm going to be the one, and my wife and myself is going to train our children according to our principles and values, hopefully that they can grow up and carry down and pass it down to their children and their children to the next generation. That's what cultural heritage means. That I train my children the way how I identify myself, how I view the world, and I pass that down to my children. So that's the difference between the Garifuna people and you would have European and any other race. So again, the video is talking about Black women misidentifying themselves and misidentifying Black men based on European standards and value. So Francois, I don't know if you want to chime in, and then we get a little bit of the video so the viewers can see.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you talking about this topic. I think it's very essential for us as a people to have these kind of conversations. And and I appreciate you for what you do. And it's going to be a very interesting topic for us. So again, thank you for bringing this topic to our viewers.
Yeah, definitely, Francois. And again, it's something that is naturally pleasing to me to educate our people and try to share the little what we know and what we have. So again, Francois, again, this video, again, I'm hoping again it kind of support what I've been saying, that our women are living a life that they already see what the end of the movie look like, and it's not good yet. And part of the movie is that the woman wants to take control, and she keeps the black man down. And the way how she keeps the black man down is working along with the system, using the system to keep the black man down. But she doesn't know that she's a victim of the system itself.
Mm-hmm.
So the video we share might highlight some of that.
Yeah, and you and I spoke about this video a couple of days ago, and I've come to the conclusion that the problem is not the women, the problem is not the men, and the problem is the system.
Right.
The system have the woman thinking the man is the problem, and the system has the man thinking that the woman is the problem. But for me, looking at the video and dissecting this video, I came to the conclusion that the system is the problem, because from slavery, from June slavery, the colonizers used to break the man down in front of the woman, and that would just break the whole family structure down. So the problem is not the woman, and the problem not the men. The problem is the complete system. But
yeah, well, the thing is, right, it is the system, Francois, but the way how the system is designed, in order for the system to work, they need the black woman, because the black women are the police for the control of the colonial for the black men. That's why she's the one that's going to pick up the phone and call the police and make sure he go to jail, and those kind of things. So I think one of the problems that I got from the video as well, right, when I listened to the dialogue, is that the man is saying that the woman, she refuses to accept the reality. Remember, they're living in basically as a delusional type of way. Basically, the guy is saying that the woman, she wants me, the black man, to provide for her equally as how she see the white man provide for his woman, because the white family in the middle class suburb, they live good. But the black man is saying that the black woman doesn't understand that he is not making that kind of money to support you the way the white man can support his family. And she called the black man, you ain't no man, you are a piece of this. And, so that's where this hate come from, right?
Well, and you know what? And since we're talking about us as a people, as Garifuna, I know a few Garifuna women who would break you down and say, okay, well, you know what? I'll let you go to jail. All I got to do is call the popo on you, and you're going to go to jail.
Exactly.
And I know some Garifuna women who would do that, because I was threatened with that. Well, you know what? I'm going to call the police on you, and then you're going to go to jail, and I'm going to take all your money for child support, and then and what's that going to do? It's going to break down the whole entire family structure.
Exactly.
So I know.
Right. So
I know a lot of Garifuna women who will probably do that, and I know my wife will never do that. So I know a few women who will do it, and I know a few who will never do it.
Right, exactly right.
Yeah.
And like I said, and the funny thing is that the woman who would never do it is always a few. Just like, again, you would say there's more no good men, and there's few good men. There's more bad women than few good women. But again, this is all have to do with the influence on the culture, right? Because because again, there's many aspects of where our black woman fall victim of the system, and the black man cannot protect her, because remember, if a black woman doesn't understand that if she's going to disrespect me in the household, and I can't defend myself from my own wife or my own woman, I can't defend myself and then if I do try to defend myself against my very own wife, she's the one that's going to threaten me with police, and I'm the father of her children. But she doesn't care whether I go to jail or the black man go to jail, and the children see it, and it's normalized. And that's a colonial influence again, because, you know what I mean? You don't hear that many other races that it's a culture where they call for the baby, call police on the baby daddy, he's going to jail. Why? Because, again, many of the men are complaining because of the frustration or because the women are not understanding their situation. You'll find this in the Caribbean. We were just talking about it with the domestic violence with the guy from the professor from the West Indies, right? When they said men are hurt, men are this, and women don't understand because of this new wave of this culture about it's all about me. There's no principles. There's no value. A man have zero control of his woman, and because the word control is viewed negatively. And guess how that play out, Francois, with a woman, why it break up? Why I hardly will find a decent man could date a girlfriend, a woman who would challenge him in this sense. I can't tell her where to go and when to go and when to come in. I can't tell her what to wear and what not to wear, even though whatever she wear represent me as a man. They don't understand that because they're saying you're insecure. No, that's about my self-esteem, my integrity, my dignity about myself. It's nothing about no insecurity. But women they've removed boundary. If you ask a woman what's decent today, wear something decent today, and they'll still expose their body parts. So the definition of decency, for example, you see a woman dressed a certain kind of way, girl, that's sexy. It's not sexy, it's provocative.
Yeah, well, you know what, Brother Marty, I am so happy that I don't have to tell my wife, listen, that looks unpresentable. I don't have to tell my wife anything. So my wife knows, she knows what to wear, what not to wear, and I don't have to. I don't have to say, babe, are you going out like that? But anyways, let's dive into this. Dive into this video and listen to it, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss.
Yeah.
Feeling of racial pride is not new for many African Americans. With the resurgence of black awareness and pride, black men and women face new problems, not only in relation to white society, but to each other in a black society. Recently, there has been a stream of articles on this subject, and the Chicago Daily Defender, America's largest black newspaper, began a series some weeks ago on the emergence of the new black woman. Benny Washington, reporter for the paper, surveyed the Chicago scene to report on how black men and women believe the revolution in racial pride will affect them and their families, before the sociologists and experts tell us how we are supposed to react.
As a reporter for the Chicago Daily Defender, and as a black woman married to a black man, I become deeply aware of the effects of this new black revolution on the relationship between black man and black woman. I see it among my own friends, and I also see it in my home. But the most revealing and the most vocal statements about what the new black man expects from the new black woman came when I met with a group of young unmarried friends one Saturday afternoon.
I think that what's happening in America as far as black men, black women is concerned is that there's a revolution within a revolution. We are fighting our own woman. Our woman will not allow us to emerge as black men. No. But our black women, who has been put in this role of aiding white America, white structure, and castrating the black male, has continued doing this. She cannot live with us. It's not that we can't live with her.
Are you blaming us? Are you saying that it's our fault that this happened?
No, I'm not blaming black America women. I just said that I'm blaming the system. They are victims of the system like the black male.
Well, why do you say that we are castrating you? You say that you want to be the leaders. Okay, well, what about the black professional woman? Are you saying that there should be no black professional woman? Are you trying to deny black women the right to be creative, the right to function?
We're not asking for you to take a back seat. We're saying that you have got to be astute enough
and can view the situation well enough where you just automatically know what your role is and step back. And whenever you want to have that aggressive thing, this is the thing that the young black man today is not going to tolerate. My old man tolerated it because his old man tolerated it. It came up for years and years and years. But today, the young black man is not going to take it. He's going to be out there as a leader.
White America has used black women to keep the black male in his place. And you're still aiding them by saying, well, we are qualified, we want to work, we can help.
Okay, how are you going to reprogram men so that they don't let us take over what's supposed to be their responsibility? And men that I have had dealings with, they are perfectly willing to sit back and let us do anything we want to.
I don't think that you have to reprogram men. I think you have to reprogram women.
No, you have to reprogram the man so that he will forcefully take what belongs to him, because you know women, as long as we can get, we're gonna get, and it's part of our being. We're going to do anything to you that you let us, whether we want to or not.
You don't want to live on the level of income that I can afford you and love me on the basis of that. You want to always be aspiring to have all those things that's a part of the great middle class white American society. And because I can't deliver these things to you, you say that you are not a man.
I don't measure a man by how much money he can bring home. I measure a man by how he treats me. Whether when I'm tired and I'm sick and I'm scared, he's there.
For these women, the men are there. But with the feeling of racial pride has come new conflicts and new problems. Across America, they meet to discuss what Black awareness means to their families and to them as Black women of today.
You know, there have been a lot of myths created about the Black family. We all recognize that. And one of the most pernicious myths is the myth of the Black matriarch, you know. And this whole concept, and I think this is one of the reasons that the Black community reacted so negatively to the Moynihan report, because we know that that's not true.
It was not like
the Black woman has not been a matriarch in the sense that it has been defined thus far. And thank God research, and I hope Black research is being done now to reverse that kind of thing. In fact, the Black woman has been a woman at the head of a household, not by choice, but by necessity. And more often, that's right, and more often than not, she is not a strong, matriarchal, aggressive, domineering figure. She is a woman in search of a man. But this story has not been told.
There we go. But Amadi, are you there? Yeah. But Amadi, are you there?
Yes, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So from the video, it says that the man says the woman should change, and the woman says the men need to change.
Yeah, that was funny, right? But it's a funny thing how women think, and I don't want to challenge women, you know, but she's one of, you could tell that woman right there, you could tell her frame of thinking and her frame of argument, how she's thinking, right? Because she said that, so how do you think that we should reprogram men? And the man, even he had to laugh, right? He had to chuckle, and he said, I don't think you need to reprogram men. It's the woman, because the women are the one who like to spend, not the man. The man is here, right? Basically, again, what they're saying, Francois, is that the Black woman is keeping the man from being, they're keeping the man from being a man. And then this other woman, she's like one of those strong-headed women. She is saying that when the men she dated, they tolerated her to do whatever she wanted to do. So she is talking about a weak set of men that she dated, right? Right? Because she said she do whatever. That's why she was saying that, well, you need to reprogram men, because the man I dated was weak. If you listen to what she said, how can you reprogram men so they can take what is theirs, so they can be strong and stand up, right? That's what she said. Yeah, so again, she's referring to men that she's dated who were basically men who were weak, and she took advantage of those men. And again, one of our culture that we don't teach, Francois, that I want to bring up on this show often, that how what has been done, women have been so protected that many men have suffered domestic abuse, verbal and psychological and emotional abuse from men that we didn't even know it was abuse. It was abusive behavior. You know what I mean? We didn't know that was when a woman talked back and be disrespectful. That's a form of abuse, because going back and forth with a man who go back and forth and argue eventually turn into a fist fight. Now, for you to argue into a heated argument with the very woman you love, and it had to turn out to a fist fight, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what, Brother Mali? I know a lot of men who are worthless, and I know a lot of women who are worthless.
Right,
Now,
exactly. Right.
you know, so like I was asking you this morning, so how do we maintain, or how do we fix this issue that's happening within our Garifuna community? How do we sit down with the men, and how do we sit down with the women, and how can we as a community address these issues without arguing?
Right. So, Francois, I always tell people, from the time I used to work at the Belize Central Prison, I used to tell people that whenever you have a problem, this is what I've learned, that whenever you have a problem, right, whether it's a sickness, whether it's a infrastructure, you look around the world, right, for similar problem and see how they dealt with it, how they solve it, whether it's a sickness, it's a disease, right? So we have a sickness, we have a disease, we are broken, we are displaced, right? So now we need a blueprint of a successful people who were broken and displaced. You know who that people is? The Jewish people from Germany. You know what they did, how they repaired everything? When they started to migrate, even before they migrate back to, when they relocated to Israel, right? And when they got to Israel, they used to have, Francois, Garifuna could do every evening. You would have a class where all the men go one area and the women, and you start to do the re-education. Right? You start to re-educate. Right. This is how we're gonna raise our family, and these are gonna be policies. These are gonna be rules now. We're gonna do away with the colonial rules. Right? We're not gonna use it. We're gonna use Garifuna value, Garifuna principles. Right? For example, now that it would be mandatory to have your kids, as so long as they're over the age of 7, find some type of house chore. They don't talk about they're sitting and they got nothing for do. Find something for do. That's how I was raised. Right? You follow me? Kids are too idle these days. They have nothing much to do, nothing good to do. They don't play sports like this. So now I want to extend this conversation just a little bit more, Francois, and we'll get to the consequences of these women turning out to be single parent and what type of children they bear, right? Okay. How they are failed mothers, basically, statistically speaking.
Before you move on, before I forget, you just said when we were growing up, we had chores, we had stuff to do, but how do we address this issue now with the children today and the parents of today? Because some of the parents don't really care. So how can we address this issue to let the children have something to do? Like chores around the house, so they're not idle. When we were growing up, we had chores. We had to make sure the house was clean, the yard was clean, there was water in the house. So how do we address these issues today when the parents who are young parents, they don't have that kind of responsibility?
Yeah. I always say the way how I do it, and I always say sometimes, Francois, when you think it's hard, it's right under your nose, right? I'll do it just the way the colonial master do it. Just refer how you're doing. Basically, you're wearing a clothes, and now all you're doing is taking off the clothes and put on new clothes. So, for example, like I said, many of our young women, right? They would need to, like I said, remember there were a time in America where in the 90s, I think, when they used to have parenting class for young teens at one time, because there was so many teens, it looked like they can't stop it no more. They forget all about that stuff, but they used to have that teaching teenager how to be parent at a young age, right? And they don't practice those things again. So what I'm saying is that many of our women today, even in Black women, I'm talking about now, Garifuna women, are not mothers, aren't ready to be mothers. Many women want to appear as single person, even if they don't have kids. They never want to be seen with their kids. They always keep their children hidden. So I always appear single and available to other men. That's their culture, that's their mentality. And they put themselves in this situation where they get all this attention from this man, and now no man can come and tell them that they are wrong because you are wrong, and they say man the pressure, man is control. So then again, the man can't stay with you because you have no values, you have no principles, you have no sense of decency about you. So I can't be with you. Right? And then the woman is saying that, well, I can't be with you too because you don't make enough money for make I be that person to you. So now we can't date each other.
Yeah. I have a comment here from Rue. She's saying, why does she need to be submissive to a man? Why can't he? The lady who was in the video who was talking, she said. She's saying, why does she need to be submissive to a man? Why can't he meet her? Why can't he meet her? Why can't he meet her where she is instead of attempting to control her based on societal norms and the definition of the role of a woman?
I don't think, to me, what the guy was saying, to me, is most of the time what I've heard is the women are getting a misunderstanding of what reality is, because what the guy is saying, both of the guys said, is that she said that you are trying to challenge a professional woman who want to be professional, and he says it's nothing like that. He is telling her all you have to do is be understanding and be astute enough, understand the situation, know your role, know your position. Don't try to come aggressive and think you're a man. The moment I raise my fist, you call the cops on me. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, I think they're both having a back and forth with this issue, but maybe we should move on with the video to listen to some more of it.
Well, one more thing. One more thing. There's one of the thing where the woman says one of the big lies that this woman is. Now these are women talking. She's saying one of the big lies that was told is that this false sense of matriarchy and women independence, basically what she's saying, I can do it by myself, I don't need a man. She talked about that matriarchy, which is not true, right? Wherein that they're trying to say that the colonial masters wanted to place the woman as controller, the decision makers. If the woman make the decision, right, then you can control the man. You don't have to worry about the man. And the man trying to challenge her decision, she can call him, and the police, the European protector, the agent, would protect the black woman, my wife, from her. You follow me? So they use the system, they use the black women who participate in the system to keep the black man in check. And that's what he said.
And that's why I said earlier, this all part of the system, because during slavery, the colonizer would break down the man in front of the woman, right, and then the family structure would be broken to pieces. So and that's still happening today, right, with the system.
Right, and it's the same thing here, Francois. I'm saying that one of the reasons why the guy says that the women are not understanding is that right now here in Dangriga, a woman should understand, and that the way how the system was set up is that it's designed for me to be landless. It's designed for me to have lack of opportunity, lack of financial opportunity, so that the woman that I have, she would always want, and the system I already know I won't be able to provide. So that will cause a conflict, and they don't need to be in the least to cause a confusion. They already set that through the economic system, right, and the media system that influence the women to consume everything you see on TV. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Ask Garifuna women how many of them know how to save. They are spenders, not savers, right? So that they put this pressure on black men, even in America. And this is from the 60s, Francois, it's old, and we are doing it today, right? What I'm saying to black women, you are the bad end of the stick, because you're gonna be the one single with kids, dating different men. Why not just work with the man and stick it through like your ancestors did? Then fall into this European sexualized world where you go sex after sex after sex after sex to the point where you can't even have a committed relationship anymore, right? And now your children are practicing it now. Then you go to the next generation, and remember now for women the age for keeping their virginity goes down and down from 18 to 16 to 13. Now it's probably at 12. So women are failing because they refuse to work with the man or accept the man that in their life. They keep challenging the man only to fall into worse situation. That's my challenge to many women. Why would you challenge the man when you know you're going to be in a worse position? My position is this again, Francois. Think about just in the 80s and the 90s when a woman come on the bus, walk in a store or walk somewhere and you see and you were sitting in a chair. It's mandatory that you get up and give that woman that chair, or you open the door for the woman, right? Women was treated with more respect because they carry themselves with more respect back then. Today, women get less respect. Even in socially, they get disrespect. In the bedroom, they get disrespect. So women don't get no rights. They get their rights stripped away, and they trade it out for cash. So again, what do you think when women relationship is hinged on man with money? If you have money, you're a good guy. You're this and this. If you don't have no money, it doesn't matter about your personality. You're not a man.
You know what I think, Brother Amadi? I think that men don't want to meet women halfway, and women don't want to meet men halfway. Right? So this is where the problem is. How can we meet halfway? How can we meet?
Education, man. We need to see for girlfriend man and girlfriend women to meet, for a family to work, any family to work. A family is an institution, and everybody, we have to have one aim. Many black families are individualistic, so the woman want to go left and the man want to go right because she don't want to go with the man. When traditionally a family go one direction, and according to European tradition, the man take the lead, but the woman, even though she is colonized mind, she don't even respect God. Because remember now, right? Think about it literally. I'm saying this, that early, we were a religious society, right? Very religious. That's why we were dressed a certain way. We carry ourselves a certain kind of way. Today, our black women says they are still Christian, but the way how they carry themselves is ungodly, right? To disrespect your man, to this and to so. When the Bible, they don't practice the Bible. When the Bible says, "Wives submit to your husband, like Christ submit to God," and all that, they don't worry about. They don't believe in God. They don't practice Christianity. Yeah, so their morality. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, let me ask you this question, right? Have you ever been in a relationship where your partner and you see eye to eye on saving money, on the plan for the future, on the plans for the family? Have you ever been in a relationship where you see eye to eye on these issues, on these subjects?
No, many relationships I've been, my woman spend more on me all day.
Okay, so why do you think that you couldn't see eye to eye on family planning?
Because I think most women that I dated don't have a real sense of priority in their lives, like your student tuition, to life insurance. You will buy a car and insure your car, but you will never insure your kids. So I think many women, to me, my head would bump with them based on their priority in their lives. You know what I mean? If you not got your priority right, you will mess mine up. You know what I mean? I can't ride with you and you going left.
Right. And that seems to be the problem all over, man, because until I met my wife now, I couldn't see my way how to plan for family with the woman I was dating. I couldn't see, okay, we're going to save money for the future, for us to build a house, for us to invest. It was difficult to see eye to eye and come together as a family structure to plan for the future.
Right, yeah, and again,
and that's all part of the whole system. This is whole part of the system.
Right, and I remind you, like I said, that this colonization, European design, know intentionally what the outcome would be with the black family, right? That's what I think. And again, my position is again, it has to be to educate the black man, educate the black woman, because the most important thing, Francois, if the black woman, if the Garifuna, let's use Garifuna man and the Garifuna woman do not understand the situation, we are at our own perils. Meaning that if we don't have a family, then the culture will go. The culture will definitely die.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, let's take the station identification break now, and then we'll come back and we'll listen to part 2 of this video.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
All right, Brother Lino.
Yeah, Francois. So yeah, thanks again. We're back again talking about the problem facing our Garifuna family institution and how Western influence have a lot to do with where we are today, Francois. I don't know if we're going to go into the next video for viewers to see the next half.
Well, but before we do that, let me say this. A friend of mine had a conversation with me a couple of days ago, and then he said, "Francois, how come you always talking about Garifuna issues and Garifuna stuff?" And to which I responded, "Well, because I'm a Garifuna, and I can't talk from a Creole perspective, or I can't talk from a Spanish perspective. I'm talking from the Garifuna perspective. So maybe if you want to hear your perspective, maybe you should do your show from the Creole perspective, because I'm not Creole, so I'm talking about my culture and what I see in my community as a Garifuna person, right?"
Yeah.
So just want to make that clear. Just want to make that clear.
Right, and it only makes sense, Francois, because you see, there's a thing going on right now in Dangriga. Just a little digress a little bit, that where I saw a post, I think it's from Daifa Post, though, where he's talking about tolerate no discrimination and racism and all that type of stuff, right? And Daifa been to the United States, and he know what the United States is about racism, and he see and hear, right, about racism, and to come to Belize and come to Dangriga, and my assumption is that he is implying that racism and discrimination toward another Garifuna, and I find it like highly offensive, because as a black man, you have to, a black man being into the United States, you have to know what racism look like and smell like. So for you to accuse a Garifuna person about racism, it really shows that what we're talking about, that mirror, that self-hate, that the person who is accusing the Garifuna of being racist is literally a white man in black man's skin. That's the only way a black man could literally gonna call a Garifuna man calling another Garifuna that who is fighting for Garifuna, when you're like fighting for Garifuna rights, and you're gonna call them racist. Like, for example, you have black people call Malcolm X racist. Black people might call Marcus Garvey racist for being pro-black, right? So that's why you see, again, when you see somebody say they are pro-white, they are racist, because more. But the thing is, everybody is just for self-interest. It's to preserve your life, it's to preserve your family, preserve your culture. It's nothing about racism or anything.
But Brother Martin, I've been called racist for being pro-Garifuna before, but you know what?
Right.
Anyways,
and that's what I'm saying.
For that.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that I saw the post, and when I see those posts from China, that's always throw me off about the person who is. And when I see those posts, I always say in my mind, I say, that person could have never done that from a live face-to-face. Because then you have to back up what you say, right? Because it's easy to make a post, you know what I mean? But come defend what you say. That's always my challenge to anybody. Stop commenting behind the screen. Come on down and come. Because I'm willing to be put to shame. But if you're not ready, I'm gonna put you to shame. That's how this thing works, right? Because again, it'll prove to yourself that you are worthy enough to hold the platform. Prove to yourself that you are worthy enough to speak truth, that you could defend truth. So if you're willing to say that you are this person, you deserve this platform, you can be responsible with this platform. Come on, let me grill you, let me grill you and see how well you stand up. You know, so again, for referring to Garifuna as racist is very offensive because again it has to do with reputation. It has to do with and it's a lie. So it's not a good thing for Garifuna to be calling other Garifuna racist when they know they cannot back that up. They can substantiate that. They're just talking out their mouth, right? So again, those type of behavior, when it because it's a serious thing, racism, right? For another Garifuna to be using the word calling another Garifuna racist, I think that's a serious allegation, right? So anyway, back to what we were saying. Are we going to the video?
Yeah. Let's go back. Let's go back to this
Okay.
video before we lose track of time.
Black history and culture to be transmitted from generation to generation. And the best way, the most effective way that this has always been done is through the family, acting as the primary unit of social organization. And I think one reason why it has not been done with black people is because of the destruction done to our family life. So this certainly has to be one function of the black marriage, to begin to reemphasize and to pick up the thread of Afro-American history and culture that has been left off generations ago when Africans were sold into slavery, when the family unit was purposely destroyed. Part of the obligation of being black is to make absolutely certain that whoever has any kind of control or jurisdiction over your kid, is not bringing him into conflict with the kinds of things we teach. We try to instill in them here in the home.
Most middle-class homes, quote middle-class homes, like I don't even get caught up in that bag. You go into will have some copy of anybody, any white artist, I don't even have to name anybody, instead of the works of black artists. I think it starts, especially that identity part, the books, the kinds of books. All of these things start in the home rather than complaining about them being in the schools at this point.
Unless we're absolutely certain of how that teacher is handling them, then we may have to assume that whole responsibility. We may have to pull them out of school ourselves, and do all the educating ourselves.
Say, for instance, when they say to my child to draw, last year Rhonda painted Abraham Lincoln Brown and she was put in the corner, We had to go up to the school and deal with that. They must be respectable to their peers in school. And what we do, we handle that. We don't say, you jump up, you curse that teacher out, or you say it doesn't exist. But they see us at that school knocking on the door. You have to be in there. Either we're going to control, their minds here, or at least give them the choice.
A lot of this is new to us, and a lot of these things we're grappling with, and we don't want to give anybody the impression that we have the answer to everything.
No, let me cut you off again. People go around talking about hate. We really don't have time to hate because, it goose up the bag. We're loving ourselves. Mm-hmm. This might bring around a lot of other different things.
To be black means to love. It's got nothing to do with having to hate anybody.
It does determine, though, Francis, and has nothing to do with hate. Again, it's love. That we might have to do certain things to protect that love.
It may bring us into conflict with somebody.
Necessary to protect that love.
Finally, I asked Francis about the standards of today's black man as compared with those of 20 years ago.
Standards which white society had projected. I think these standards were that he had to become successful according to the white mode. He had to get a good job. He had to buy a good car. He had to move to the suburbs. He had to rear a good family that went to church every Sunday, that did everything that the typical good American family was supposed to do. And I don't think the black man necessarily is addicted to that notion. I think he sees the falsity of it. I think he sees the total hypocrisy of it. I think he wants to rear a tightly knit family, but not for the purposes that white society says. He doesn't want to rear a family for any sham purposes, just to fulfill some false ethic. But he wants to rear a good family in order to have his children strong, reared in his own image perhaps, and to transmit, most importantly, to transmit the values which he is learning to his children, and to try to ensure as best he can that his children will transmit those same values to their children, and have the same transmission repeated from generation to generation.
Listen to me. I am a woman. Black, that is. And there is but one thing which brings tears to my eyes. And that is to hear man, woman, or child stand up with strength and say, I'm proud, I'm Black, and that's beautiful.
All right. Brother Amadi.
Yeah. So let's start off. I'll start off with the last one. What she say, Francois, when she said to a Black woman and Black men and the children that to say to stand up and be proud and say I'm proud and I'm Black, right?
Yeah, I'm beautiful.
Right, I'm beautiful. Now we know for a fact, Black women do not feel that about themselves. Hence the makeup and the wigs and the nails, all that stuff, right? Because
well, hold on. Let me defend my wife, right?
Yeah.
Let me defend my wife. My wife doesn't fit in there, because
yeah. No, look, it's for a certain age. Like, look, I'm saying that when you use the wig and the makeup to enhance, that's a European thing. Because remember, the reason why the Black woman put on the wig and put on the makeup, remember, they're imitating the white woman. And what the white woman is doing is that the white woman is always trying to be forever young. That's why you see older men, like they said, Trump, they like younger women. That way they talk about why do men like younger women? And because even older women like to appear young. So men are socially programmed and attracted to younger women because of the culture. You follow me? So when, like they say, why women get offended when older men date younger women, I said, but when the older women were little girls, they dated older men too. They just changed as they get. You follow me? So it's a culture that we live in, that where the young girls are dating older men and the women are complaining, but you were the very young girl that was doing the same thing. So unless the woman have a man maybe in the house, raise the little girl and say, you know what? This is not the time to have somebody, or that is not the right person to have at this age, and take your time. But there's fatherless home. I see, Francois, where a 14-year-old girl, this is in America, and I've seen in Belize where pull a knife on her mom when her mother is trying to give her a whooping or trying to reprimand her daughter. She doesn't want to hear it. She pull a knife on her mom. Sister can't help it. The mom and the sister is trying to stop the little sister from using the knife. I see mothers trying to fight with 15-year-old boys where when the boy get angry, she can't do anything.
Well,
right?
You know what?
So
I've experienced that. In my own home.
So again, so you put that fault on the Black woman because she ought to know that she cannot do it herself, but she's in denial with this colonial, this Western thought that don't worry, you can do it yourself. You do not need a man. That's a lie.
Yeah, well, I've experienced that too as well.
The Black, like the video said, the Black woman craved the Black man. She wants a Black man.
Yeah. You know what? How can you be submissive to your woman or to your wife? How can you? I know in my marriage, I'm submissive, and I don't have any problems with being submissive.
Yeah, look, Francois, even if you take away the word for submit and just put the word respect, I'm gonna respect my wife, and my wife will respect me, and that's gonna translate into submission.
Right.
Simple as that.
Absolutely.
Right. So for me, when women come to me with, "Oh, you're controlling and you're something," I delete she quick. I don't even go into those debates. I don't know. I pick. Look, I got keyword to hear from women. As soon as I hear it, I already know that's crash. You call out that believes you call it crash because you're gonna crash into that relationship. It's not gonna work.
Yeah,
you know, they got red flag that they say, "Oh, I don't care about no this." Whenever you hear they come with that independent, I don't need no man and all it, that's how you're gonna view me in a relationship. I don't need you.
Yeah, you know, but now these are the type of discussions that we should be having within our community. Right?
Exactly. Yes.
These are the type of conversations that we should be having as a community, as a people, as a nation. But we're not having these type of discussions.
Right, and that's why again, Francois, I'm trying to do my best to contribute, man. Most of these things that we're picking on every aspect of Garifuna life. This is a family life. We want to talk about the social life, talk about the spiritual life. We want to talk about education. So we'll just go by them layer by layer and try to talk about how we're going to juxtapose between the colonial and how it ought to be, because how we are living, especially again, we should focus on Black women. We are not living how we are ought to live as human beings, as men and women. We are living how we were designed and programmed to be.
Right. Right. Yeah, of course.
Again,
Of course.
another thing that the black man said in there, one of the guy with the husband and the wife, he was explaining that what the black woman doesn't understand again is that she wants a black man who is successful based on European standard, have a job, have a car, and goes to church on Sunday, right? That's what the European program the black woman to look at a successful black man. And the guy is saying that the black man doesn't feel that colonial ways fit his personality and his identity, and that he feel like whenever the black man try to play this white man role, he feels fake. But that's the standard the black woman holds him to. So for me to have I messed around with you the last time, for me to have a good black Garifuna woman right here in Dangote or anywhere in Belize, oh, I gotta talk proper English. I could tuck my shirt in. I can go back to the prison where I was working as a principal, driving my car, speaking proper English, and I can get almost any woman in Belize that would be attracted to me because I'm Europeanized myself to them, right? And that's why they would. But the moment I say, "But they want to be and how they go man things," oh yeah, I know why they don't want me.
At the moment you say Ida Biangi.
Yeah. So it's just the language. All I do is speak English, American English, and you already get 10 points. You speak Creole, you get 0 points. You're nobody. So women put themselves, again, from me, Francois, where they are very easily to be manipulated. Because all I gotta do is speak English to you, and you're gonna fall for it.
Yeah, and what you said,
it's nonsense.
What you said just now, that is absolutely true. Because when I go to the restaurant and I speak American English, and if I go and I speak Creole, if I speak Garifuna, it's a total different. It's totally different treatment.
It's different, right?
Yeah,
so that's what
totally
I'm saying.
different.
So I go to any government building and I speak Creole, I get treated away. But if I go in the government building and I speak English, I get respect because they are programmed to respond to colonial ways. It proves it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, our woman is a part of this too. So again, we need to educate. We need to educate again, right? Because at the end of the day, Francois, one of the things what the guy says also is that the family is very important, because what the man wants to do is a man don't want to die seeless and just without memory. He wants to leave a legacy behind for his children. And that has been taken away from us, and that's what the black man wants for so much. That's why you're saying hopeless, depressed, all these negative side effects that have befallen the black man, right? And our black women don't want to hear that. They use that against you, that you are deadbeat. They use that to bring you down some more.
Well, you know what? No, but I might listen. I just want to big up my wife again, man, because
that's right.
I provide for the household, and she provides for the household, and we make a plan for the future. Not just my plan, our plan. We say, all right, we're gonna save some money, not for me, not for you, but for us. Right. So I'm very proud of my wife.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. And one of the things, Francois, I would always like to Melissa, like you said, and I take your word, trust your word and everything, that I value women so much. I respect women so much. I always say this to people, right, that I don't cuss around my mother, right, even at this age. I don't do any, I try not to do things I do around my friends, around with my mother, because my mother is my friend, but she's not my friend like that. I always keep that respect for my mother, compared to I see a lot of people, guys, where you do anything in front of your man, the man will say nothing. But even though I could do something in front of my mother and she might tolerate me, that doesn't mean that I have to do it. I know better, and that doesn't look right doing certain things in front of my mother. I give her that respect. And I see a lot of women walk out the house right now, walk past their mom, walk past their granny, very disrespectful, and say nothing. So again, we need to educate our mothers and grandparents to put your foot back down and tell your daughter, how your granny used to say, where you're going, they look so, where you're going, so come back in and put on something decent. Yeah, because again, if she doesn't do it, my son or her son, when she's son date my son, they will have a problem, because my son and I disagree too, right? So that's what I'm saying. That's how it's going to play out.
Yeah, again, these are the type of conversations that we should be having within our community, within our homes, within our district. These are the type of conversations that we should be having.
Yeah,
these are the type of conversations that our Garifuna leaders should be having.
So I say this all the time. I used to tell it to the guys, the guys are affiliated here in Dangriga. We need to have a frequent meeting every day to talk about this stuff, man, because 1 minute to talk about that go right through the years the next day.
Right.
This has to be consistent. This has to be a program.
Yeah. No, I wholeheartedly agree.
And remember, we talk about the racism again, and not to that, but the lady, the woman also said that when the children go to school, right, the government have control of the minds of the children. So he is saying that when the children come home, the parents should, like I said, debrief the child what you learn in school and try to instill what we want to instill in our children so they don't bring that outside influence like I would suspect some of the Hispanic does in their community. The kids go to school, talk English, eat Creole food and all these things, but when they go home, they eat their Spanish food, they speak their Spanish language and things like that, right? So in that sense, and she's saying that she is not talking about hate. Just because it's about love. When you love yourself, it's not about hate. So again, I'm sending this message again to some of our Garifuna media out here talking about discrimination. Do not expose yourself as being a self-hating person. That's all it exposes about yourself. If you're smart and you know other people who's smart, who can think, right? Because somebody might think one thing, but other people think better than what you might be thinking. So again, it's not about hate, it's about love. And they mentioned you might even have to defend yourself to protect that love. And again, what I'm saying, Francois, the black man, the Garifuna man, is defenseless in protecting his family. I can't protect my wife, I can't protect my children, because anything I do to my wife, or if I can, basically you can't discipline your wife, you can't discipline your children, or there's no rule in the household and relationship anymore, Francois. You will follow me what I'm saying?
You know what, you talk about the school earlier, right? Let me just talk briefly about the schools, because I believe the schools are part of the problem as well, because your children spend 8 hours every day in the hands of the school teachers, right? So the school teachers are guiding the children the way they want, but not the way the parents want, because they spend all this time at school with the teacher who is programming their brain, right?
Right.
So the children only spend, let's see, they go to school from 8 in the morning, and they come home at 4 in the afternoon, 4 in the evening. So they only spend from 4, they go to sleep at 8 o'clock, so they spend 4 hours at home with their parents, and they don't have a discussion with their parents, right?
Nothing, nothing. Sometimes, Francois, it's not even 4. Sometimes the parent get home late.
There you go.
Depends on where they're working, right?
Yeah.
So and again, I challenge women on that. That's why children are being raised without parent. The mother is not there either because she's at work.
Yeah, let's say the mother is a school teacher, so that means she gets home at 7 o'clock because she has to take the bus to Georgetown or to CN Bike or to wherever.
About 5, 6 they'll be home.
Right. So she leaves home at 5 in the morning to take the bus to go to school to teach.
Yeah.
Then she get home at 7 in the evening. Then when she gets home, she's tired. Then she gotta get ready for the next day. So that means she only spend an hour with her children. So the children spend more time away from their parents in the school. So the schools are programming the minds of the children while the parents are just sitting there doing nothing.
So look at this now, Francois. This is what I challenge women. One, the only people who benefit from that, when the school teacher go and work for the government is using you.
Of course.
But at the end of the other side, this is what I challenge women. I'm saying, why would you decide to choose that life over the betterment of your children? Because women who choose to take the 9 to 5, you have a choice. Either you're going to take the 9 to 5 and neglect your kids. But you can't tell a woman you're neglecting your kids like that. They take that offensive, but it's the reality. You're neglecting your kids over the children. And guess what? The school is going to raise your child. And you would have that conflict with your child. You know why? Somebody else is telling them how to think. While you come home and you're trying to say one thing again, we already see the picture. We already know where it's going. And yet, our girlfriend and women are walking right into the footstep of failure.
Yeah.
Right? And again, sorry, one more note. It is scientifically proven. I'm just saying it's science, right? That Black women fail miserably raising children. And that's something that is a reality that we really need to look at. And I'm calling for Black men, because we are the fathers of those children that is growing up a certain kind of way. But remember, the woman keep us with the law. But somewhere, Black men need to come back and fight for his family, Francois.
Yeah,
because
but
the system is dividing us.
Well, let me talk about experience. So me being a Black man trying to raise my children, and when I put my foot down, listen, the mothers, oh, don't talk to my children like that. I said, okay, then you ready the police
exactly
speak to him out there in the street, beat his ass up. And while I'm here trying to be the father, trying to guide this household, trying to guide these children, and you don't want me to talk to these children a certain way, but when the police beat their ass up on the street, then it's okay.
And Spencer, you know, let me say one thing. Shouldn't this be a common sense rule for any woman? The moment I date you, I get to tell your kids what to do.
Well, yeah.
What's wrong with a woman to think, you mean I'm going to be the man in this one? You tell me I can't tell him what to do. I can't.
Well, as long as he's not abusive, but if he can, if you're going to guide my child, then you know what? Guide my child.
Because look at it. This is what women want to hear him saying that. And same thing is common sense for a man, that if I date a woman and she has children, I have to accept those children as mine. I have to care for them just like I care for the mother.
Right.
That's common sense to me as a man dating a woman with children. Right. And I think it should be the same thing with a woman. The moment you know the man, you date a man, you're gonna have to give him some type of parental control over your children.
Right. Right. Anyways, but Amani, listen, this was a really good conversation. And again, these are the type of conversations that we need to hold our leaders accountable for. And these are the kind of conversations that we need to keep having within our community, within our towns, within our district.
Yeah, sorry about that. So again, man, it's something that we really need to look at, and I'm glad that we get to cover this again, and we could talk. We got some more, like I said, right? We'll talk about different aspects of our lives as being Garifuna people. Yeah, and then we need to address issues within our communities, man. Definitely. Right. Yeah.
We can't be afraid of speaking up against whatever needs to be whenever needs to be talked about. Then we talk about it.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're at the end of this segment, Brother Marty.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll wrap it up and we'll come back again. We'll see our viewers on Tuesday. We're on thought-provoking conversation for the viewers who are on, man. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. We'll be here again next week, Tuesday. Don't forget, when you watch this video, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like and share. You know, we support our YouTube channel. You know that YouTube work with the algorithm, right? So again, support your Belize Zen YouTube channel by subscribing, liking, share, and even share your thoughts, comment on it.
Absolutely. We do appreciate you tuning in. We do appreciate your comments. We do appreciate you sharing the show, subscribing. So we do appreciate you. Again, thank you to Melissa Rock for being behind the controls. And again, Evan Hill, Archangel Sab, and to all our viewers, Melissa Oruwe, we do appreciate each and every one of you. So until Thursday, where we do thought-provoking conversation, we have a very interesting show as well. On Thursday, we are going to speak about believing and knowing.
All right. Yeah.
Is there a difference between believing and knowing?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to speak on believing and knowing, and how believing is affecting us as a people in our community.
Terribly.
Yeah. Because just a brief discussion. When you believe in these politicians and you accept the money for the vote, and you believe they're going to do something, man, that's a bunch of bullshit, because they never do what they tell you they're going to do. So if you believe in what they tell you, then something is wrong with you. But on Thursday, we're going to speak about believing and knowing. So make sure you tune in Thursday, 7:30 p.m. right here on Gary Vision Indigenous Network. So until then, we'll say ayo.
Ayo, much love, respect. Thank you, guys.
Yes, I.
Mm.